Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to discuss Candy's On That Note with Nivea. For those who don't know, Nivea is a R&B singer. She is currently on the show BET Presents the Encore. Um, I am definitely a fan of Nivea's second album, Complicated. I have been saying this for years that Complicated is really one of the best R&B, whatever, however you want to, whatever genre you want to put it in, that is a iconic, legendary album, girl. Complicated is everything to me, girl, everything. Um, but anyway, so she appeared on Candy's On That Note. We know that Candy has Speak on it, and On That Note. And On That Note, I guess, is more geared towards like the music side. I'm going to be honest though, okay? We're going to be honest. It was a little difficult for me to kind of keep up with Nivea. I felt that she was kind of all over the place. So I caught myself having to rewind to try and understand what exactly she was. Not as far as like, you know, I felt as though when she was telling the stories, she told the story as if she was talking to someone who already knew the story, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, this is what happened X, Y, and Z, but it's like, okay, girl, I feel like you left out some parts, but I feel like in her head, like she gave enough to where it made sense to her, if that makes sense. I honestly felt like also that this was this was a lot. Like I at the end of the interview, I was literally in my bed bawling like a baby. I felt like this was almost too much for Candy. Like in real life, this probably should have been on some Iyanla Fix My Life type of stuff. Like it would like Nivea has been through a lot, and in my opinion, I feel like some of the things that she's been through, she doesn't call it for what it is. We'll get to that. All right. So let's just get started. Okay. So, they introduced her and she lets us know that she is, of course, now on BET Presents the Encore. She has always been afraid to do reality TV. But she said that this experience, well, this her being on BET Presents the Encore was quite the experience. She said that 14 years old, I think she was signed to Organized Noise, like the Dungeon family. Her mother and I believe her father, they were drug addicts, functioning drug addicts. She lived with her grandparents from like 10 to 14 years old, but then she ran away like at 16 years old. Her ex-manager. She never said the man's name. She did say later in the interview that she has not spoken to that man or seen that man since 2003. She don't even know if he's alive or not. I believe she said that. This man was, I think, about 20 to 30 years older than her, and he was in a relationship with her. And she was, I think, between 14 and 16, I believe. 14 and 16. And this man was in a relationship with her, and I think that he was about 40. And some people kind of started to put the pieces together of, girl, are y'all together? Like, what's going on? Because this looks real strange, even though she never really told anybody. I didn't like the fact that Nivea called herself a freak, because in my opinion, like, girl, how are you labeling yourself a freak when you have grown men who are old enough to be your father taking advantage of you, and in real life pretty much pimping you out to their friends? They talked about the girls in the industry dating older guys. I wouldn't say the girls in the industry dated older guys. I would say the older guys preyed on the younger girls. Because there's no way, it's a reason why they say it's consensual sex, right? Because you can't consent to sex when you're 15 and 14 with a 40-year-old man. I feel myself starting to get worked up, and I'm trying to like not get worked up, because this story was actually really, really sad to me. What Nivea's life, like the things she said that happened to her, it was really, really sad to me. She said at 18 years old, she got her first deal, because you remember she sung the hook on Danger. Been so long. But I think Khalees was supposed to sing it, but something happened, so they put Nivea on the track. And so, but she got her first deal at 18 years old. She had 2 homes. She had her regular home, and then she had a home that was called the studio home, where they basically did, they took care of the business, recorded at that home. At 17, she had, even though she was still kind of in and out with a 40-year-old man, she ended up talking to another guy who was like 21, which is not necessarily too old, but she also had a $1 million record deal. She said that even though the manager that she never named, even though he did a lot of horrible things to her, he also, I guess, did some great things as far as business-wise, even though he got over her and stole from her. She got a $1 million record deal. She also got a publishing deal. I think each one was like $500,000. Again, her manager stole from her. One night they actually got into a fight. She said he never hit her in her face, but he dragged her, and she ended up like leaving the house and running to like a McDonald's, which was so crazy to me, because it's this song on her second album called Parking Lot, and it's meet me at the McDonald's parking lot. And if it's too late, I can wait. Yeah, no, wake up, meet me at the McDonald's parking lot. And I was like, girl, is that how that song came about? Because she said that she ran to a McDonald's parking lot, and the first thing when she said that, the first thing I thought about when she said that was that song off of her album called Parking Lot, and she mentions about meeting at a McDonald's. So anyways, that's when she got in contact with Lil Wayne. Her and Lil Wayne basically end up, talking, and Lil Wayne convinced her to move into an apartment. But that was only his way of getting Toya back into the house. Because at this point, I think she was in New Orleans. This is a mess. She said that at one point, she felt like she didn't have anybody who had her back, because I guess the things that the man did for her manager did for her, I guess were so great in a way that people wouldn't believe her if she came out and said, he did this, he did that, he did this. Now this is where I was sitting on my bed with my mouth wide open. So she says that her manager friend, girl, I'm about to cry. I can feel my eyes watering. Hold up. Y'all know I get sensitive. Y'all know I'm sensitive a little bit. Sensitive about my shit. So she says that, and the way she said it, I was like, this baby is traumatized. Like, she doesn't even know, like, girl, you were violated. Like, you were the R word. So she says that her manager's friend, she was like, yeah, my manager friend, he fucked me. We fucked on the car. And so I'm sitting here listening to her talk, and she was like, he gave her some alcohol and basically got her drunk and basically fucked her on a car. I think the hood of a car. And I'm like, girl, no, that was not fucking. Girl, that's called statutory. Not even statutory, girl. That's just plain out. Like, and so then I guess at that moment, she was like, I guess you can say he kind of pimped me out. But like when you hear her talk, she'll say things like, yeah, I was a freak. Like, girl, these men have been taking advantage of you since you were a child, since you were 14. And now you got your manager pimping you out to his friend who gave you alcohol and took advantage of you on the hood of a car. Girl, that, like, I think that she has let these men convince her that, yeah, she a freak. You like it. You know how those older men get. It's actually disgusting. Like, and when you think about these older men who, and the thing is, like, this is just the truth. Once upon a time, it was actually normal for older men to date younger women, make these kids their wives, right? Back in the day. And I think somewhere along the line, you know, we started to say, yeah, this is not right. This don't sound right. This old men should not be messing with little girls, right? You know, some of them still do it to this day, but now, you know, we looking at you like, oh girl, no ma'am, you know? She said she doesn't go to counseling on the regular, but she needs to go. She definitely does. Candy, they start talking about wants and goals and how basically you should never put your goals underneath a man. Like, a man is gonna always try and get to the money and do this and do that while you sitting at the house not doing nothing. I thought this was actually kind of funny. Nivea said, yeah. Nivea said that she wrote a letter to her record label, basically telling them that she quit. Girl, Nivea said, girl, this is my 2-week notice. I quit. I don't want to do this no more. I'm over it. Girl, I said, I know that's right. Girl, Candy said that you know, they were part of the industry. She said she heard about that. That Nivea had wrote this. Nivea didn't know that you couldn't write a letter. I mean, girl, you're in a contract, right? So it's not as simple as, girl, you just writing, putting in your 2 weeks notice. So her and Dream. Oh, so basically, she quits. Well, she basically stops recording, I guess. And but then she later goes back, because you remember she was signed to Job Records. Job Records, I don't think they're no longer around. I guess they did a merger with another company. I think Sony. Did she say Sony? Job Records is no longer around. We'll get more to that in a little bit. So that's when she met the Dream. And she met the Dream, and she said that the first night they went on a date, she spent the night at his house, and she said a month later they were married. He wrote the song "Okay." I think the label wanted to give the song to J-Lo, but he didn't want to give the song to J-Lo. He wanted Nivea to sing it. At one point, she felt as though the industry had pretty much blackballed her and the Dream. She said, so now at this point, she was pregnant and she was married. Now, y'all remember back in the day, now it's not like that, thank God. But back in the day, girl, you had to, especially when it came to women, you had to appear to be a virgin, right? You know, you really couldn't have tattoos and you couldn't have children. You know, the men had to appear to be single. You can't have a girlfriend. You can't have a wife. So once Nivea got pregnant, and I think at that point, I guess she started to get tattoos, they was like, how are we going to market this, girl? You pregnant and you got tattoos and you married? And around that time, that's when Ciara came out. And Ciara came out, you know, with goodies, and it was a wrap. And so she said, basically, they were like, okay, girl, we can work with Ciara. We can't work with this girl who pregnant with pregnant and got tattoos and all that stuff. Just basically, Job dissolved, right? And what happened was when the albums came out, that it was a defect in the albums, and they were going to recall all of the albums. And she told them, instead of recalling her album, just let her out of her deal. Like, don't recall my album, just let me out of my deal. Like, I don't even want to do this no more. Because she said at that point, they weren't even paying her any attention. Like, it was pretty much like, girl, we don't care about you. Girl, we own, you pregnant, you married. Girl, what we gonna do with that? So, girl, we on to the other girls. She didn't want to talk about certain things because she felt as though it would piss Dream off, which that kind of pissed me off. But I mean, I guess she has to deal with the Dream. I don't. She did say later in the interview that, you know, pretty much Lil Wayne and the Dream, they taking care of her. So she really didn't have to want for anything because they made sure that she, you know, was okay. Her and the Dream eventually didn't work out. She was going through it. You know, she didn't want to call it postpartum, but later on she kind of like said the word. But, you know, she said she had 3 kids, no job, no money. She was overwhelmed by life. And then, you know, later on, we know that Dream became the Dream, and, you know, he was still successful. So the Dream wanted a divorce. She felt like the world was over. She said the only thing that she wanted from the marriage was the washer and dryer and 2 purple chairs. Girl, please. Not with no 3 kids. You think I want to wash and dry and 2 purple chairs when we got 3 kids? No, I want half of my money. That's what I want. I want half of my money. So basically, after the divorce, she started to mess with Wayne again. And she was engaged to Wayne, and then come to find out Lauren London was pregnant, and it was a mess. So basically, I think Nivea was pregnant at the time too. I think Nivea was pregnant and engaged, and Lauren London was pregnant, and somebody else was pregnant too, I believe. But her and Lauren London became the best of friends. She said she got really, really close with Lauren. Then she said she fell into a depression. This was around 30. This is around 30 years old. She said she fell into a depression, and she started to do cocaine. And she said that was her first time ever doing cocaine. She said that was the drug. You know, as crazy as it may sound, she said that was her dream drug. So, you know, I guess, you know, if I could do one drug, it would be cocaine, right? And so she said she started to do that, and she said she was tired. She was tired. She just felt like it was really sad, because basically what I got from what she was saying was, I have these kids, you know, and she looked at it as though my kids are starting to get older. And, you know, like we all do when we're teenagers and start to get older, we start to kind of give our parents, you know, a run for the money, give them a headache. And she felt like her kids not listening to her, not doing what she said, was a way of them basically turning their backs on her. And so that made her sad. I don't know why I'm about to cry. I really felt bad for Nivea. I really, really did. But she said, you know, she thought about her grandmother passing away, her mother passing away, right in her house, on her couch. And, you know, she just felt like, what's the purpose of my life? Like, why am I even here? It really, like, the bitch been through it. She said now basically her kids give her flowers. You know, they listen to her music online, and they let her know that she shouldn't be ashamed, or she should feel great, because, baby, you're Nivea, girl. And, you know, I'm glad. And that was pretty much it. She said she's now back in the studio working on music, trying to get a team together. And this is the best she's ever felt in a long time. Again, like, I wasn't this huge fan of Nivea. However, that second album, baby, Complicated, baby, I can listen to Complicated all the time to this day. To this day. Killer. But yeah, that was pretty much it. If you have not seen On That Note with Nivea, I think that you should definitely go check it out. Baby, Nivea could write a movie. And I hope the motherfuckers who was out there, I can't even say it, taking advantage of her, violating her, y'all hoes need to be in prison. Y'all motherfuckers is nasty. Y'all, the simple fact that y'all are really out here pimping little girls out, getting girls drunk just to have sex. Girl, just an absolute mess. Anyways, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.